Evil isn't always obvious. Sometimes it wears a charming smile. It can walk into your life disguised as a friend, a mentor, or even a loved one. You might be sharing moments of trust, laughter, and even vulnerability with someone who, beneath the surface, takes pleasure in manipulation, control, and deceit. The most dangerous individuals are not the ones who openly show their malice, but those who conceal it behind charisma and calculated kindness. Throughout history, some of the most infamous figures weren't immediately recognized for their deceitful and destructive tendencies. They rose to power, gained influence, and manipulated countless people simply by appearing trustworthy. Even in modern times, we see leaders, influencers, and even seemingly ordinary people who expertly craft an image of goodness while secretly exploiting others. These individuals thrive on deception, knowing that most people judge character at face value. That's why recognizing the warning signs is critical, not just for our emotional well-being, but for our peace of mind, personal growth, and freedom. The Stoics understood this reality deeply. They believed that wisdom, observation, and self-control were our best defenses against manipulation. According to Epictetus, one of the most fundamental Stoic principles is distinguishing between what is within our control and what is not. You may not control the presence of toxic individuals in the world, but you do have power over how you react to them. The Stoics remind us that if we learn to see people for who they truly are, rather than who they pretend to be, we can protect ourselves from harm. That's why in today's video we're diving deep into the 5 telltale signs of an evil person. Whether it's a colleague, a friend, or even someone in your own family, understanding these signs can be life-changing. It allows you to step back, evaluate relationships with clarity, and decide whether they align with your values and emotional well-being. By the end of this video, you'll not only be able to spot manipulative behaviors early, but also learn practical ways to safeguard your mental health using Stoic wisdom and self-discipline. These lessons have stood the test of time, helping countless individuals navigate difficult relationships while maintaining inner peace. Before we begin, do me a small favor. If you find value in these discussions on Stoicism, self-awareness, and personal resilience, hit that subscribe button. This helps us reach more people who need this message. And make sure to watch until the end, where I'll share a powerful Stoic strategy for setting firm boundaries. One that can protect you from toxic people while keeping your mind clear and focused. Now, let's get into it. Starting with the first sign of an evil person: charm as a weapon. Some of the most dangerous people don't come into our lives with a threatening presence or an obvious air of hostility. Instead, they enter smoothly, often with a warm smile, infectious charisma, and an uncanny ability to make us feel special. Charm, when used authentically, can be a wonderful quality, but in the hands of manipulative individuals, it becomes a weapon. Evil people frequently use charm as a tool to disarm their targets, making it easier to manipulate emotions and gain control over decisions. They know exactly how to make a great first impression, showering you with attention, giving extravagant compliments, and making you feel like you've found someone who genuinely understands you. But beneath this charm lies a calculated strategy to gain power over you, the life of the party, until you look closer. Imagine meeting someone at a social gathering who immediately captures everyone's attention. They're funny, engaging, and effortlessly charming. They tell stories that captivate the room, compliment people in just the right way, and always seem to say what others want to hear. At first, you feel lucky to be in their presence. This person makes you feel valued, as if you've just gained an incredible friend or mentor. But over time, You start to notice small cracks in their behavior. When they need something, they expect you to drop everything to help, yet they are mysteriously absent when you need them. They constantly redirect conversations back to themselves, ensuring that they remain the center of attention. If someone confronts them about a mistake, they don't take accountability. Instead, they charm their way out of responsibility, deflecting blame onto others. Maybe you've had a friend, boss, or even a romantic partner like this. At first, their charm felt like a gift, but later, it turned into a way for them to manipulate, using flattery and charisma to keep control. The Stoic perspective. Actions over words. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, warned against being deceived by mere words or appearances. He emphasized the importance of observing a person's consistent actions over time, rather than being swayed by momentary charm. True character is revealed in how someone behaves when they have nothing to gain. A person who is genuinely good will remain kind, fair, and respectful in all situations, not just when they need something. But someone who only exhibits kindness when it benefits them is dangerous. The Stoics teach us to detach from initial impressions and take a rational, objective approach when assessing someone's true nature. How to protect yourself: stay detached from flattery. If someone makes you feel excessively special too quickly, take a step back and ask, why are they doing this? Watch for patterns, not moments. A manipulator will often reveal their true self in subtle, repeated behaviors, such as ignoring people who are no longer useful to them or always shifting blame when things go wrong. Test reciprocity. Pay attention to whether their kindness is mutual or only flows one way. If they only take and never give, that's a warning sign. Give time before. Deep trust. Epictetus taught that we should be cautious about who we allow into our inner circle. Before opening up emotionally or professionally to someone, observe how they treat others, especially when no one is watching. Charm alone is not a sign of goodness or virtue. It's a tool that can be used for both genuine connection and manipulation. The key is to stay grounded. Observe without bias and never let charm blind you to someone's real character. Now, let's move to the next sign of an evil person: a lack of empathy and emotional exploitation. If there's one trait that truly exposes a person's evil nature, it's their lack of empathy. While many people associate evil with outright cruelty, the deeper danger lies in emotional exploitation, the ability to use others' emotions as tools for personal gain while remaining completely indifferent to their suffering. New perspective. The emotional manipulator. Not all manipulative individuals are aggressive or outwardly cruel. In fact, some of the most toxic people in your life might not scream, threaten, or physically harm you. Instead, they drain your emotional energy, taking advantage of your kindness and support without ever giving anything in return. These individuals are masters of selective empathy. They pretend to care when they need something, but are noticeably absent when you're the one in need. They will exploit your emotions to gain sympathy, favors, or financial help. But if the roles are reversed, they show cold indifference or even irritation. They invalidate your feelings when it's inconvenient for them, downplaying your struggles while magnifying their own. The one-sided friendship. Imagine you have a friend who always seems to be in crisis. When they're going through something, they expect you to drop everything, answer their late-night calls, provide emotional support, and reassure them. But when you need a listening ear, they dismiss your problems or disappear altogether. First, you tell yourself they're just busy. Maybe they don't realize they're being selfish. But over time, a pattern emerges. They take without giving, expect without reciprocating, and drain your emotional energy without any regard for how it affects you. This isn't just selfish behavior, it's a sign of emotional exploitation. A person who truly cares about you won't just be there when they need something. They'll show up when you need them too. The Stoic approach: character is revealed in adversity. The Stoic philosopher Seneca wrote that a person's true nature is not seen in their words, but in how they behave in times of hardship. Both their own and yours. When someone faces adversity, do they handle it with grace and resilience, or do they exploit others to make it through? When you face adversity, do they offer genuine support, or do they vanish? A lack of compassion, remorse, or concern for others' well-being is one of the clearest signs of an untrustworthy and toxic individual. Research on psychopathy and narcissistic personality disorder highlights that individuals who lack empathy often display superficial charm, appearing friendly and engaging but with no real emotional depth. Lack of guilt or remorse, they hurt others without feeling any real sense of wrongdoing. Manipulative tendencies, using people for their own gain, without caring about the consequences. While not everyone who lacks empathy is a clinical psychopath, the behavioral patterns are undeniable. If someone consistently fails to show care, concern, or remorse, it's a warning sign. How to protect yourself: do not expect change. A lack of empathy isn't something you can teach someone. If they don't care about your feelings now, they won't suddenly develop compassion later. Observe, don't excuse. If someone repeatedly ignores your pain while demanding your support, that's a clear indicator of an imbalanced, toxic relationship. Accept the reality. Trying to rationalize their behavior or hoping they'll see the light will only lead to disappointment. Distance yourself when necessary. The best way to protect yourself from emotional exploitation is to stop making yourself available to those who take without giving. People who lack empathy are not just difficult, they are dangerous to your well-being. The Stoics taught that our emotional energy is valuable, and we must invest it wisely. Now let's move on to another defining trait of an evil person: manipulation, the art of distorting reality for control. Evil individuals rarely use direct force to get what they want. Instead, they manipulate reality, twisting perceptions, distorting truth, and controlling narratives to serve their own interests. Unlike honest people who communicate openly, manipulators deceive, confuse, and gaslight, making it difficult for others to trust their own judgment. Manipulation is dangerous because it happens gradually. You may not even realize it's happening until you're deeply entangled in their web of deceit. Whether in friendships, workplaces, or relationships, these individuals undermine your confidence, distort your reality, and keep you emotionally dependent on them. Forms of manipulation. Gaslighting, making you question your own memory. Gaslighting is one of the most insidious manipulation tactics. A gaslighter denies reality, making you doubt your own experiences, emotions, and even sanity. They might say things like, "That never happened. You must be imagining it. You're overreacting. Stop being so sensitive. I never said that. You must have misunderstood." Over time, gaslighting erodes your confidence and makes you second-guess your instincts, allowing the manipulator to gain full control. Guilt-tripping. Using emotional blackmail. Manipulators use guilt as a weapon, making you feel responsible for their emotions or problems. They might say things like, "After everything I've done for you, this is how you treat me. If you really cared about me, you'd do this for me. I guess I'm just not important to you." by exploiting your sense of duty, loyalty, or kindness. Guilt trippers trap you in a cycle of emotional obligation, where you feel compelled to cater to their needs at the expense of your own. Triangulation. Pitting people against each other, new edition. Triangulation is when a manipulator creates conflicts between people to maintain control. Instead of dealing with issues directly, they bring a third party into the situation to stir tension and keep people distracted. Examples include a toxic boss who subtly compares employees to create rivalry and prevent unity. A friend who plays two sides, telling one person false rumors about another. A partner who flirts with someone else just to provoke jealousy and keep you on edge. By creating division, the manipulator ensures that people never unite against them, keeping everyone confused, distracted, and emotionally dependent. Example: the manipulative boss. Imagine working under a manager who constantly shifts blame, undermines employees, and creates unnecessary competition between team members. Instead of acknowledging poor leadership, they tell employees, "John got a raise because he works harder than you," even if it's untrue. Some people here complain too much instead of being grateful. Dismisses legitimate concerns. I don't know why Susan is mad at you, but maybe you should think about what you did. Sows distrust. This manipulative behavior creates an unstable work environment, where employees turn against each other instead of recognizing the real problem, the toxic boss. Stoic advice. Controlling your perception. Epictetus, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, taught that we do not control others, but we do control our perception of reality. Manipulators try to warp that perception, but we can resist by questioning reality. Instead of blindly accepting someone's version of events, ask yourself, what do I know to be true? Trusting your instincts. If something feels off, don't dismiss it just because someone tells you otherwise. Observing behavior over time. Consistent manipulation patterns will reveal a person's true character. Action. Step. Protect yourself. From manipulation, create emotional distance. Don't engage in their games. Step back, stay objective, and detach from emotional hooks. Set clear boundaries. If someone gaslights, guilt trips, or triangulates, call it out, or remove yourself from the situation. Surround yourself with truth seekers. Having honest people around you helps you see manipulation for what it is. Manipulators thrive in environments where confusion, guilt, and self-doubt dominate. But by staying rational, observant, and emotionally strong, you can see through their tactics and protect your peace. Next, let's explore another dangerous sign of an evil person: controlling behavior. A truly evil person doesn't just want influence, they want total submission. While some people naturally like to take charge, a controlling individual takes this to an extreme, seeking to dominate every aspect of your life. Their goal is not cooperation or mutual decision-making, but rather stripping you of independence so they can manipulate and dictate your actions. Unlike obvious aggression, control often starts subtly. It can masquerade as concern, protection, or even love, making it difficult to recognize until you feel trapped. The more power they gain, the more they tighten their grip, until you no longer feel like you have control over your own life. The different forms of control. Financial control. Keeping you dependent. One of the most effective ways an evil person maintains control is through financial manipulation. If they control the money, they control the decisions. A partner who insists on handling all finances while giving you little or no access to shared resources. A family member who convinces you to quit your job, making you financially reliant on them. A boss who constantly underpays you but guilt trips you into staying because were like family. At first, it may seem like they are taking responsibility for your well-being, but over time, you lose the ability to make independent financial choices. The more dependent you become, the harder it is to leave. Social isolation, cutting off your support system. A controlling person will often attempt to isolate you from friends, family, and anyone who might give you an outside perspective. They know that if you have people around who support and challenge you, you are harder to manipulate. They subtly criticize your friends and family, planting doubts in your mind. They create drama or conflict between you and your loved ones. They demand that you spend all your time with them, making you feel guilty for wanting space. They insist that others don't really care about you, only they do. Over time, you may notice that you've drifted away from the people who once supported you. Without an outside perspective, their control deepens. Decision-making domination, overriding your choices. A controlling individual doesn't just offer advice, they dictate how you should think, feel, and act. They believe they know best and won't tolerate disagreement. They dismiss your opinions, telling you that you're wrong or being irrational. They insist on making all major life decisions for you. They make you feel incapable of functioning without their guidance. If you disagree, they respond with anger, guilt, or even threats. At its worst, this level of control can make you doubt your own ability to make decisions, leaving you completely dependent on them. Stoic perspective. Autonomy is essential. The Stoics valued self-sufficiency, independence, and rational thinking. Epictetus emphasized that while we cannot control external events, we must always remain in control of our own choices and mind. When someone tries to strip away your independence, financial freedom, or social support, they are not acting in your best interest. They are seeking to dominate you. A truly good person will respect your autonomy. Even if they offer guidance, they will never force submission. Advice for you: how to protect yourself, maintain financial independence, always have access to your own money, even if you're in a committed relationship or partnership. Having your own resources means having the power to walk away if needed. Keep a strong support system. No matter how much someone pressures you to cut ties, stay connected to friends, family, or a trusted community. Having different perspectives helps you recognize when you're being controlled. Set firm boundaries. If someone constantly overrides your decisions, assert yourself. Make it clear that you are in control of your own life. If they refuse to respect this, reconsider their place in your life. Trust your own judgment. A manipulative person will try to make you doubt yourself so they can take over. But your thoughts, opinions, and decisions are valid. The more you trust yourself, the harder it is for them to dominate you. Controlling behavior is not about love or protection, it's about power. The Stoics taught that we must be the masters of our own minds and actions. Anyone who tries to take that away is a threat to your well-being. Now let's move to the final and most dangerous sign of an evil person: pathological lying. Honesty is the foundation of trust, and trust is the foundation of any healthy relationship. But some people lie so compulsively that deceit becomes their way of controlling reality. These individuals don't just lie to cover up mistakes or avoid consequences. They lie to manipulate, to dominate, and to reshape the truth in their favor. A pathological liar isn't just someone who occasionally bends the truth. They fabricate entire narratives, distort facts, and gaslight others into believing their falsehoods. Over time, their lies create a web of confusion, distrust, and emotional exhaustion, leaving those around them mentally drained and full of self-doubt. Example: the toxic partner who manipulates with lies, Imagine being in a relationship where every time you confront your partner about something suspicious, they have an elaborate story ready. You catch them texting someone late at night. They tell you it's just a coworker asking for advice. Even though the messages seem way too personal, you hear from a friend that they were seen with someone else. They claim your friend is just jealous and trying to sabotage your relationship. You express concern about their behavior. They turn around and say you're being paranoid or insecure. At first, their explanations sound reasonable, but as time passes, you start feeling like you're going crazy. You second-guess your instincts, question your memory, and lose trust in your own perception of reality. This is not accidental. This is calculated deception. A pathological liar's goal is to keep you confused, off balance, and emotionally dependent on them as the sole source of truth. New edition: the psychological toll of chronic deceit. Being around someone who constantly lies can have devastating psychological effects. Loss of trust. When you can't trust someone's words, you begin questioning everything, including your own judgment. Confusion and self-doubt. Pathological liars twist reality so much that you start wondering if you're the problem. Emotional exhaustion. Keeping up with their stories, contradictions, and gaslighting wears you down, making you feel mentally drained and powerless. Anxiety and hypervigilance. When someone repeatedly deceives you, you start overanalyzing every situation, looking for signs of dishonesty, a state of constant stress that damages your well-being. The Stoic approach: truth is non-negotiable. The Stoics believed in living in accordance with reality. Marcus Aurelius taught that truth and reason are the pillars of a virtuous life. Lies, on the other hand, are destructive, not just to individuals but to entire societies. A Stoic would never tolerate deceit, because a life built on falsehoods is a life built on instability. If someone consistently distorts reality, they are showing you that they have no respect for truth, and therefore no respect for you. Seneca once said, "A liar is not believed even when he speaks the truth." Once you catch someone lying repeatedly, can you ever truly believe them again? How to protect yourself from a pathological liar: trust actions over words. A liar can say anything, but their behavior will always reveal the truth. Observe patterns, not promises. Don't waste energy arguing. Liars are experts at twisting facts and making you question reality. Instead of engaging in their games, step back and look at the bigger picture. Set boundaries and demand honesty. If someone consistently lies to you, call it out. But more importantly, don't tolerate it. Remove chronic liars from your life. A person who refuses to be honest does not deserve your trust. The Stoics would advise you to let go and walk away. Relationship with a pathological liar is a never-ending battle against falsehoods. But your peace of mind, emotional well-being, and clarity of thought are worth far more than maintaining a connection built on deception. Now that we've covered the 5 major signs of an evil person, let's discuss the most important lesson of all: how to set firm boundaries and protect yourself from these toxic individuals. Recognizing the signs of an evil person is only the first step. The next, and arguably more important, step is protecting yourself. The Stoics taught that our inner peace and autonomy are sacred, and we should never allow others to disrupt them. Setting boundaries is not about controlling others. It's about protecting yourself. A manipulative or toxic person will always push limits, test your patience, and drain your energy. The key to breaking free is to define and enforce firm boundaries that safeguard your mental, emotional, and even physical well-being. Let's go through a Stoic-inspired 4-step method to set and maintain boundaries effectively. Step 1. Define what is acceptable and unacceptable behavior. Before you can enforce boundaries, you must first be clear about what you will and will not tolerate. What behaviors cross the line for you? Lying, manipulation, constant disrespect, guilt-tripping, etc. What do you need in a relationship? Friendship, work, or romantic? Mutual respect, honesty, emotional balance, etc. What kind of energy do you want in your life? Example: if someone constantly belittles you or makes jokes at your expense, and it makes you uncomfortable, that is unacceptable. If someone frequently guilt trips you into doing things you don't want to do, that is also unacceptable. Stoic perspective. Epictetus emphasized that we must clearly distinguish what is within our control and what is not. You cannot control how others behave, but you can control how you respond to their behavior. Step 2. Communicate clearly and assertively. Once you define your boundaries, you must communicate them without fear or hesitation. Many people struggle with this because they worry about conflict or hurting others. But setting boundaries is not an act of aggression. It's an act of self-respect. Be direct and calm. There's no need for anger or passive aggressiveness. State your boundary with clarity. Use I statements. Instead of saying, "You always manipulate me," say, "I will not engage in conversations where I feel manipulated." No justifications needed. You don't owe long explanations. Your boundary is valid because it protects your well-being. Example: if a friend constantly talks over you and dismisses your opinions, say, "I value our conversations, but I will not continue them if I am constantly interrupted or ignored." Stoic perspective. Seneca taught that true wisdom lies in remaining calm and firm. Do not let emotions cloud your judgment when setting boundaries. Keep it clear, simple, and resolute. Step 3. Enforce boundaries with consistency. A boundary means nothing if you don't enforce it. Many people set boundaries but then give in when met with pushback. Manipulative people thrive on inconsistency. If they see that you don't truly mean what you say, they will keep testing your limits. If you say no, mean it. Don't backtrack out of guilt. If someone continues to cross the line, remind them of the boundary. Do not engage in debates or arguments about your boundaries. A manipulative person will try to negotiate them away. Don't fall for it. Example: if a coworker continues to dump work on you after you've set a boundary, remind them, "I've already told you that I cannot take on additional tasks. My answer remains the same." Stoic perspective. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that we should act according to our principles, not according to pressure from others. If someone is offended by your boundary, that is their issue, not yours. Step 4. Remove toxic individuals. When necessary. Some people will never respect your boundaries, no matter how clearly you communicate them. When this happens, you must be willing to walk away. If someone continues to lie, manipulate, or control you, they do not deserve a place in your life. If enforcing your boundary results in hostility, belittling, or emotional blackmail, that is a sign that this person does not respect you. You are not obligated to keep toxic people in your life, no matter who they are. Example: if a friend, partner, or family member continues to guilt trip, gaslight, or undermine you despite multiple warnings, it is time to create distance or cut ties completely. Stoic perspective. The highest Stoic principle is inner peace. Marcus Aurelius advised that we must not allow toxic influences to disturb our tranquility. If someone is a constant source of negativity, Removing them is an act of wisdom, not cruelty. Evil is real, but so is your power to resist it. The Stoics never advocated for passivity in the face of manipulation, deceit, or control. Instead, they taught that wisdom, discernment, and self-respect are the ultimate defenses against toxicity. Recognizing these 5 warning signs, you become more aware of who you allow into your life. By setting firm boundaries, you take control of your emotional and mental well-being. By walking away when necessary, you free yourself from destructive influences and reclaim your power. As Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." You don't need to argue. You don't need to fight. You don't need to seek revenge. The best way to protect yourself from an evil person is to become someone they can never control. If this message resonated with you, subscribe to the channel and check out our next video on mastering emotional resilience through Stoicism. Your peace of mind is worth protecting. Start today. Let's continue this journey of wisdom, strength, and self-preservation together.